Alright, welcome back guys, or welcome to your first time here. I'm Vision here with Blind Entertainment, bringing you guys another video. Today I'm going to be giving you guys my death predictions for The Walking Dead Season 9 Hilltop Community. So if The Walking Dead is something you're interested in, don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and hit the bell icon. That way you don't miss any future Walking Dead related videos from me. Now let's begin. Now, right off the bat, first off, we got Maggie. Now, if you've been following the news, you know that Lauren Cohan has left The Walking Dead to start as the lead in a new show on ABC, Whiskey Cavalier. However, Lauren Cohan has come out and said that The Walking Dead did leave her story open-ended for her to come back, pretty much confirming the fact that Maggie lives. So, for that reason, I'm going to say Maggie is safe. Next, we got Herschel, Maggie's son. Now, with Maggie leaving, I have a few things that I have an issue with here due to the fact that I don't understand what they're going to do with her son. I believe they're going to keep him alive. I don't think they'd get rid of Maggie and then have him just die. That wouldn't make any sense. So I'm going to say Herschel, he's safe. I don't think he's going anywhere. I think he'll be probably taken care of by Enid and Jesus and some of the other people at the Hilltop who are close to Maggie. So I'm going to say Herschel is safe. Next up, we got Enid. Now, I'm going to say Enid is safe. She's pretty much taking on the role of comic Sophia, and I'm predicting personally that I think she's going to take on a bit of comic Carl storyline moving forward in Season 9. I don't see the purpose of having her die right now. I think she's going to be like an advisor to Maggie within the first few episodes, and then possibly be one of the leaders of the Hilltop following Maggie's departure. I think she's going to play a crucial role, maybe be part-time caretaker to Herschel. So I think Enid, for the most part, is safe. Next, we got Gregory. Now, for those of you who have seen the trailer and have read the comics, I think there's a good chance he's going to die. I think you're going to finally get your wish. Those you people who don't like Gregory, I think he's finally going to die after all these seasons. And I'm going to say it's going to happen within the first few episodes of the season. If you look at the trailer, you can see Daryl and Maggie standing by like an execution place where you hang people. So I think that's going to happen. He's probably going to try to poison Maggie. It's going to fail. And then they end up hanging him as like a crime and, you know, executing him that way. I think he will probably go out quickly and it won't be something dragged out throughout the first half of the season. Plus the Maggie leaving within the first 6 episodes, they can't really make it go past episode 6. So I'm predicting he'll be dead within the first 6 episodes. But I'm interested to see how it goes out because it looks like he might have some accomplices. Hopefully they don't die because there are 2 characters I think that should stay around. But I think for the most part, Gregory, he's going to die. Next up, we got Jesus. Now, I'm predicting Jesus is safe. Just due to his own comic storyline. It looks like from, if you watch the first 5 minutes online, he and Aaron from Alexandria, it looks like they're going to be forming some kind of relationship between the two of them. I think they're going to build off that this season, and I think both of these guys are going to be safe. I think after Maggie's departure or disappearance, depending on what goes on, he's going to step up and kind of be the main leader of the Hilltop along with some of the other icons like Enid and people like that. So I think Jesus, for the most part, he's going to be safe and possibly lead the Hilltop after Maggie's departure. Next up, we got Alden, the guy who used to be a savior and now is at the Hilltop community. Now, this is an interesting one for me because I know a lot of fans are saying he's comic Dante. Now, as much as I was hoping that they'd actually put in Dante and not make him a remixed version, I'm slowly coming to accept that he's most likely going to be comic Dante. However, I feel like with Maggie's departure, I feel like there's no reason kind of to keep him around. They might build him up with a relationship with Maggie in the first half, but once she's gone, like, what's the point of that? I feel like there's a 50-50 chance he'll survive the season. I think after Maggie's departure, they could build him up to be one of the leaders of the Hilltop, along with Enid and Jesus. However, without Maggie, he doesn't really have any purpose after that. Like, Dante's main purpose was to be a love interest for Maggie in the new beginning. However, without Maggie, I feel like he doesn't have much purpose other than being one of the leaders. And for that reason, I predict there's a 50-50 chance that he could die and be one of the heads on the pikes. So for that reason, I'm going to give Alden a 50-50% chance of survival. Next up, we got Cal, one of the guards at the Hilltop gates. And I'm going to say Cal, he's going to die this season. I predicted he was going to die last season just due to how his story went in the comics. However, since he survived, I think he's going to die at the end of the season as one of the heads on the Pikes. If you want my honest opinion, I feel like we need to start cutting the dead weight. We got Magna and her group, the Whispers coming in, and plus probably a bunch of other comic characters. We need to start trimming some of the lesser characters, and I think we need at least one of the guards at the Hilltop to go out, and I'm going to predict it's Cal. So I'm going to say Cal, he's going to die this season. Next up, we got Eduardo, the second guard at the Hilltop Gate. Now, if you rewatch season 8, you can kind of see they're building Eduardo up to be kind of a secondary big character. I think he's going to be a recurring character. If you watch the first half, he partook in a lot of the battles happening at the outposts. He kind of played, in my opinion, a big role. So I predict that they're going to keep him around but kill Cal, because you want at least one of the guards to still be there, just due to the simple fact that, like, you can't kill both of them off. It just makes them look weak. But you need to give the Hilltop a devastating blow to show that they're a little weak. So one guard going out is probably the best bet, in my opinion. If I had to pick out of the two, I would say that I would pick Cal to go out and Eduardo to survive. Plus, the actor who plays Eduardo kind of has been growing a fan base online. So for that reason, I think they're going to keep Eduardo. And for that reason, I'm going to say he is safe. Next up, we got Birdie. Now, she's been built up as a recurring character since around the second half of season 6 when the Hilltop was introduced. And a lot of people online, plus the actress herself, says that she is the counterpart to Brianna, who is one of Maggie's close advisors in the comics. So I feel like Birdie, she's going to be safe, and this season they're going to develop her into one of the people within Maggie's inner circle of people. I think her, Eduardo, Enid, Jesus, and Alden will probably be some of the inner circle people with Maggie, and they'll probably help lead the community following Maggie's departure or disappearance, depending on what goes on. So I think she, for the most part, Birdie, is safe this season. Next up, we got Oscar. Now, Oscar's kind of been in the background a bit. If you watch season 7, he's the one who made fun of Gregory for not being able to kill a walker. He's kind of been a background character. He partook in a lot of the battles within the first half of season 8, but he hasn't had much to do. And with the cast being as large, I feel like he's just been kind of shoved to the wayside. This season, I think there's a 50-50 chance he'll survive. They could build him up to take on more of a important role within the Hilltop, but they could also kill him off for being one of the heads in the Pikes. And for that reason, I'm going to give him a 50-50 chance of survival this season. Next up, we got Earl. Now, this is a character from the comics. He is a blacksmith. And if you watch the trailer, he's one of the people being held at the place where they're executing people, most likely Gregory. So for that reason, I'm going to give him a 50-50 chance. I've been waiting for Earl to come around since around season 7 to season 8. Like, I don't understand why they didn't introduce him earlier. I would have thought with March to War and All Out War, they would have needed a blacksmith. But they didn't. They never introduced him, and now they're introducing him here. And it looks like he's going to be taking on two characters. He's going to be taking on Earl Sutton, the blacksmith, and his name is Earl, but he's also going to be taking on Morton Rose, who's one of the antagonists in the New Beginning, who attacks Rick. I don't know what they're doing with his character personally. I'm 50-50 on this one, because I really want him to survive the season, but since he's at the place where they're executing people, I feel like he could die. I'm hoping they keep him around, but I don't have a lot of hope in me that he will survive the season. And for that reason, I'm going to give him a 50-50 chance of survival this season. Next up, we got Tammy Rose, the husband to Earl. Now, this is a tricky one for me, because they cast a big actress, Brett Butler, to play her. Like with Earl, they cast John Flynn to play him. They're both big actors, and I don't know what they're going to do with these two characters, because I feel like, in one respect, Tammy Rose, I think, should die since she was one of the heads in the Pikes in the comics. Now, I know a lot of people will jump on me and say, well, not everybody gets their death like in the comics. But for the most part, a lot of small, minor characters do get their exact deaths from the comics. So I think she could get her exact death from the comics. So I'm going to say there's a 50-50 chance here. Mainly, I think that they could kill her off and keep Earl around, but I'm nervous that they might kill both of them off, because they have them both at the execution place in the trailer. So I'm 50-50, but I'm leaning more towards that Tammy Rose will die this season. Next up, we got Marco. Now, Marco is one of the new characters being introduced in the season as well. He's, I think, being said to be a supply runner for the Hilltop. So that's interesting. Maybe we'll see him interact with Jesus, who used to be like a guy who goes out and gets supplies. That's interesting to me. I think Marco is going to be safe. I think they could build him up. Maybe to be a minor to important character by the end of the season. More of an important character in my opinion. Maybe put him in Maggie's inner circle and be one of the more important characters in the Hilltop. So I'm going to say for the most part, Marco is safe. Next, we got Ken, who is the son of Tammy and Earl. Now, he, I think, is a remixed version of the son, Brandon Rose, and he is one of the key players in the comics of some of the things that goes on involving the Whispers. So I think he's going to be safe this season. I think his mother will probably die, maybe his father, and that's what fuels him to be this antagonist later down the line. I don't know what they're going to do with him. I think that he pretty much will be the counterpart of Brendan Rose from the comics. So for that reason, I think that he is safe. Next up, we got Crystal. Now, for your eagle-eyed Walking Dead fans, you'll know she was one of the food exchangers that delivered food to the Saviors when they first introduced the Hilltop back in Season 6. However, they never returned her character back to the show. I don't even know if she's still involved in the show or whatnot. And I have her here just because she's a character within the show. And I honestly don't care or think they'll bring her back. But if they do, I'm going to predict she dies and is going to end up being one of the heads on the pikes at the end of the season. There's no other thing to do with her. They could reintroduce her, but since she hasn't been seen or hasn't done anything in almost 2 seasons, there's absolutely no reason to have her return and be a key player. And for that reason, if she ends up returning, I'm going to say Crystal dies. Next, we got Craig. Now, like with Crystal, he hasn't been seen since Season 6 as well. He was one of the prisoners that they had gone to rescue in No Tomorrow Yet. And he's never been seen again since that episode. I don't even know, like with Crystal, if the actor is still involved with the show, if he'll ever return, and if they'll ever do anything with his character. If he does, I'm going to say he dies. I think he'll be one of the heads on the pikes. Again, don't really care, nor do I think he'll return. And for that reason, again, I think he will most likely, if he returns, die as one of the heads on the pikes at the end of the season. So yeah, guys, those are my death predictions for The Walking Dead Season 9 Hilltop Community. Next, we'll do the Kingdom, followed by the Sanctuary, and Oceanside, and new characters being introduced. As always, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and share. Don't forget to subscribe down below and hit the bell icon. That way I don't miss any more Walking Dead content from me in the future. This has been Vision here from Blind Entertainment, and I'll see you next time.